it's a complex thing.
It's been the longest journey ever, and the most emotional journey.
Well, it is a journey, isn't it? And learning learning different skills. I've had to learn different skills to parent.
So, the impact, I'll take it to my grave.
It was a life-changing experience.
Just always being aware that I gave a child up for adoption.
Adoption is a lifelong process, really. It's not just an event where, a couple of people have signed a bit of paper and got a baby and raised them and that's it, and there's so much more to it than that.
What is family? And I think for me, adoption is about saying, actually, my family is bigger than the people who have my blood.
When Mum adopted me, when Mum and Dad adopted me, I think they thought I was a baby with like a blank sheet of paper. But in fact, I'd come into the world like all babies with a blueprint.
I kind of felt like a failure.
I guess explain to people that there are consequences to adoption. It's not the fairy story that it's made out to be.
What happened was that I thought what I was getting, or what I would get, was unconditional love and, cuddles and hugs. What I got was a mirror into myself. And so I think for me, adoption means really being able to hold yourself and your family to a learning journey that's different.
It's a very different journey, isn't it?
The wound is a two-way thing. You cut the connection between mother and child. It's not just on one side that there's the wound. The wound of adoption, it doesn't just go away. No. I wouldn't say it bothers me all the time, but it's part of me, I suppose.
Yeah, I just think it's, like you're saying, it's complicated. It's complicated for the child and for adoptive parents too.
Every day I wake up and I think I know who I am now. What if I hadn't have found out? It was a life-changing experience.
Definitely affected my mental health. Sense of identity, sense of belonging, relationships, fitting in, There's a lot of, I grew up in a white community, but don't really belong there. But at the same time, in my Colombian heritage, it's like people have an expectation of, what a black woman's supposed to be. And I'm like, I don't fit into that either. So it's like, where's the middle ground? Where do I fit in? Like, what's my place in not only my community, but the wider community?
Felt very guilty that I actually signed him over, that I didn't try to fight. It was like I had actually given up on him, that I didn't try to fight. I got to the point that I actually tried to take my life. Not that it was anyone's fault, but I just was so angry because I started to realise and started to find out that I'd been lied to.
If Mum had rejected me, that would have caused me to have a lot of mental health implications. If my mother hadn't accepted me, I think it wouldn't have been anger, it would have been anxiety and terrible distress, depression. That would have been my lot. Not anger, but those other feelings would have replaced it.
When I had my second daughter, which was the one that my daughter I was going to keep, Mum and Dad sent me some flowers. Congratulations on the birth of our granddaughter. And I was still in the labour ward, and I burst into tears, and they're saying, "What's wrong? You should be so happy."
It's a surreal experience, being an adoptee, especially a late discovery adoptee, where you live half your life thinking one story, and in fact it's a lie. So for me, like the ongoing effects on mental health, I never know when that next trigger is going to pop up, when that next memory is going to pop up, when something in my life is just going to remind me of what I missed out on. Yeah.
As parents, we're told that once our child is adopted, we are the parents and it's up to us, just like it is for any other parent. But the problem is our children are not like any other child.
No.
And as parents, we're not like any other parent. And therefore, the support that we need is different to the support that other people need.
That's right.
Just from my experience, when you want to fit in to a group, you know, when you feel a bit different, you like for me, I didn't really want to associate with other Asians because that was making me different, and it's sort of, looking back now, you know, I've missed out on some cultural connection when I was younger that I sort of enjoy now.
I suffered from grief for a long period and would have times when I'd just be overwhelmed with so much sadness. And trying to deal with that by myself for a long time was very hard. And I think if you had a group of women who'd all lost children in different ways, and you said you lost your child to adoption, there would be someone who would say, oh, but you had a choice, because that's been said to me. And in that way, it's like what you went through really wasn't quite valid.
A friend of mine found another birth mother who had been through a similar experience, and I was connecting with her that actually sent me in the right direction. Didn't matter what I said, I knew that she understood. So you can actually have an experience where you can tell friends now what you've been through, and they can kind of sympathise with you, but they don't really get it. And people judge you, they're really cruel. Whereas when you're talking to another mother, you feel that you're not judged.
In the last 20 years, I've now completed a book, and I've shared that book with both families, adoptive and birth. So it helped me to get the feelings out of the head, onto the paper, and to share them.
That's the problem. There's no real handbook or benchmark, is there?
No way,
Everyone's
absolutely
not guessing as they go. Yeah. But as time goes on, I think we are understanding that it is a much more complex issue than what we thought it was before. And there's the more support services there are for adoptees, even into adult life, and adoptive parents, you know, supporting them with adoptive kids. That can be a positive thing.
Counselling has been good. For me, reading too is good. It's been good to read lots of adoptees' stories. I've had times when I've intensively just read everything I could possibly find.
I've done that.
About it, and writing things out always helps for me, and talking to people who understand, and that's where Park, when there was group work or
those going away for the weekend, I've done 2 of those. That was great to be amongst women who've had the same experience. And for some women who were still so traumatised by it all, it definitely, I like to think, helped them think they're not alone. Yeah.
Just the ripple effect of the other adoptive parents who I've met, who you would never ever, your paths would never have crossed with them, because they're not the people you meet at the school gate.
Yes.
The people that you meet in the same situation that you are, all going through the same challenges. The support that has come from being friends with them. If I hadn't had them, I don't think, I don't know what I would have done.
No.
It would have been terrible.
It's just been a real roller coaster. Oh, well, maybe I can have counselling. And I went in there thinking, with all walls up, thinking nothing can take my guilt away. And it wasn't until Trish convinced me that I did the best I could. And so when I start feeling guilty, I think I did the best I could. And that's what changed it, but it took all those years.
The only thing that's really helped me in all my life is the last sort of 6 to 8 months of having found Park, having found you and others at Park, and the support group that I've joined is meeting people that have an appreciation for what I've gone through, for what my life experience is, that don't look at me and think that I'm a bit crazy and I should be thankful for being adopted. Yeah, that is what's helped me. But to actually have someone I can talk to who actually will acknowledge and understand what I've been through, and that means so much. So I'm forever thankful, for having, found Park, and I just wish I'd found Park 30 years ago when I found out I was adopted. If I'd found out then, I would be in a different place today.